Alright everybody, it is the day we have anxiously been awaiting for, the move of the historic Galloway Mansion. Good afternoon, my name is Brooke Evans. You have probably only seen the back of my head before. I am the 6 p.m. producer at WBOC, but today I'm going to nerd out a little bit and tell you about this historic mansion. Let's go ahead and take a live look back down at the Galloway Mansion as it starts to make its way up the bay. Alright, now so work started on this mansion back in 1760, and the home was finally completed 4 years later in 1764. That's right, I will do the math for you. It is 255 years old. That is pretty old. Alright, so it was originally built in Easton on Chapel Road, and it was constructed for a newly married couple, William Nichols and Henrietta Maria Chamberlain Nichols. Both of them came from prominent families, and the house was said to be a wedding gift from the Chamberlains. Not only did they get that house, though, they also got a 600-acre plot of land to go with it. That is a pretty nice wedding gift if you ask me. It was bought by Christian Neely for about $500,000. His goal is to restore it and give it to his parents as a retirement home, as well as kind of having it as a place for the entire family to come and enjoy. But he said he wanted to move the Georgian masterpiece because he said it was better suited for Queenstown than Easton. And obviously this move does not come cheap. It's estimated to be about $1 million, and it's all privately funded through that Neely family, and they say it's well worth the money. So many people might be asking, what's the point of the move? And that's because Neely said he was worried about the threat of development and suburban sprawl where the home resided originally in Easton, and he says there's plans for a new subdivision there and a Chipotle, and he said it was, quote, not great for an English estate home. So the home gets to make its way up to its new place in Queenstown. Now this trip on the water is expected to take anywhere between 9 and 10 hours, but looks like it is moving pretty well right now, and you can see some boats are following it. You got some sailboats down there too. Just take a look right now. And this was a big effort, definitely not a small task. Before the mansion even made it to that barge, the Neely family worked with the Maryland State Highway Administration to conduct traffic studies. There were several nighttime road closures. That's because traffic lights had to be taken down, and the house itself, it took up multiple lanes on Route 50 and as it made its way down to the Easton Point Marina. And that took several days of moving. And once we got down to the marina, there were no worries that the initial barge wasn't large enough. So there were several delays as the boat sat there, as the house sat there waiting for that larger barge to come. Many of you have probably watched it from our Hertrick camera. Now we get the best view in the house from Chopper 16. Now another big issue for that delay in moving the house was the tide. There's a small window of opportunity each day for that house to be rolled onto the larger barge, and just loading the mansion onto it took several hours today, and crews started their work around 4:30 this morning. Then it set sail down the Tredeavon River. It's voyaging up to Queenstown. Definitely created a public spectacle of sorts, with plenty of people coming out each day to watch and take selfies with it. And now boaters are out there riding around. I was told someone was going to bring their kayak out. It's pretty cool. Now the Galloway Mansion weighs about 400 tons, and there's worries about moving such an old home. Again, it's 255 years old. So that's why it's taking so long to move. Just the ride on the road, it was going about 5 miles an hour. Now, something interesting about this final resting place for that new house is it's moving to the Cheston on the Y estate, which Neely also purchased. And a fun fact, one of the daughters of the Nichols family who originally owned the Galloway mansion, she married a man named Edward de Courcy, whose family happened to own that estate, and she's buried in the family cemetery on that property where this house is eventually moving. So several more hours to go here on the bay. And for those of you who are tuned, historic Galloway Mansion makes its way from Easton to Queenstown. Cost about $1 million to move this home. And it was purchased recently by Christian Neely for about $500,000. Now his goal is to restore it once it gets to its Queenstown location, and he's going to make it kind of a family home, and it's going to be the place where his parents retire. And again, the reason for that move, he said that its original home in Easton was getting a little too overdeveloped. There was a Chipotle coming, a new subdivision, and he kind of wanted to give it the old, quiet style area where it was like it was originally living on. A lot of history. Again, work started on this home in 1760, and it was completed by 1764. It's 255 years old. It's older than the U.S. It's wild. And after several days on the road and several days waiting at the Easton Point Marina, just waiting for a larger barge, we are finally getting on the water and ready for this move. Now this voyage, as I said, is about 9 to 10 hours, so still plenty of time. It only set off about an hour or so ago. It's making its way from the Tread Avon up the bay. And they say it's going to be about 50 miles on the water. And one final look from Chopper 16, reporting live in Delmarva's only news helicopter. I'm Brooke Evans in Chopper 16. Over the bay.